Hello and welcome to Empire of Wargames. My name is Deeplesh and today we are talking about the Watchers of the Gate Battleforce for the Adeptus Custodes. If you're interested in pricing, savings, points and what's in the box, you have come to the right place. As always, there's going to be a playlist of all the reviews as soon as there are a couple more of them at least in the pinned comment, as well as updates from the Warhammer community website as soon as we know more about pricing, releases, when these boxes go on pre-order and so on. So if you're interested in that, check out the pinned comment as well. Alright, so I've predicted the Adeptus Custodes Battleforce in my Warhammer 40,000 Battleforce prediction video, and I am happy to see that this box has arrived and it has no Sisters of Silence in it, and it is just an amazing box. Although if I could have made a couple of tweaks, I would have made them, but we are going to talk about that when we talk about what's in the box. So how about we do that next? So first up, we have our HQ choice, and our HQ choice here is none other than Captain General Trajan Valoris. And he's our named character. You probably don't need him multiple times, but he's relatively easy to convert. So if you wanted to really go all out on Custodes, you could buy this box twice, but GW, as smart as they are in their kind of way to prevent you to have too many savings, it is probably not worth it to pick this box up simply because of the troops choices in this box. But yeah, Trajan Valoris, amazing model, great rules, was nerfed multiple times. I think he started out at 160 points. At the moment he costs 200 points. Still great model, still very competitive choice, and just an all-around good inclusion, at least in my opinion, as far as named characters go. But at the same time, it is also the only named character. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not a bad model all around. Alright, and next up we are talking about the real reason why this box is not worth it to be picked up multiple times. It is our troops choice, the Custodian Guard. And if you look at the kind of box artwork, it is not one, not two, but three entire squads of Custodian Guard, and that is 50 models total. I would have replaced one of them and kind of traded them in for Custodian Wardens, simply because that adds a little bit of variety. You don't need three entire squads, and even with two squads of Custodian Guard, you can still easily run a battalion detachment, just to clarify, because you can run them in squads of three. Yeah, all around, the Custodian Guard is one of the best kits out there. You can build regular Custodian Guards with Spear, or you can build them with Sentinel Blade and Shield. You can build them as Praetorians, and you can build them as a Shield Captain. There is a ton of option with each kit, and that is amazing. But I still would have traded one in for something different, just to add a little bit of variety into this box. Next up is our elite choice, and it is the Elarus Custodians. You can either run them as three separate Elarus Custodians if you wanted to. You can run them as a squad of three with either Castle and Axes or Spears, or you can run one of them as a Vexless Praetor in Elarus Terminator armor. All of them great choices. It is an all-around great unit, especially in semi-competitive or in a casual environment, as well as Crusade. So yeah, these are just a great inclusion. They add a little bit of a different unit and a different flavor of Custodes next to all the guards you have in the box as well. And last but definitely not least is our fast attack slot, and we have the Virtus Praetors in there. And we have three of them. They are also included in the Combat Patrol box, which takes a little bit of the excitement away because they have already been discounted, but still having three of them is always useful, and you're probably going to want two additional boxes once you start thinking of upgrading this specific box to 2000 points. Now, all in all, I think this entire box is 22 models, which is insane to think about for an Adeptus Custodes value box. And yeah, considering what we have with the Combat Patrol box as well, this seems like a solid box all around. As I said, I'm very happy that this box doesn't include any Sisters of Silence, simply because we have them already discounted in the Combat Patrol box, and they're just not the most exciting models out there, at least for now. I think they need some kind of support when it comes to additional models and more exciting rules as it stands. But all in all, this Battleforce looks very, very promising. Next up, we are going to talk about pricing and savings. As always, the price is not official. £135 is an estimate. So I think it's a realistic estimate, especially looking at the savings and so on. But I really hope it is going to be a little bit cheaper than that. around 125 to 130 pounds, but we are going to have to wait and see. I hope it's not going to be much more expensive than that, because anything lower than 30% when it comes to savings would really suck. But if my estimation is correct, we are going to get a 33% savings with this box, which is above average. We are usually expecting savings of around 30%, and the total cost of this army, if you bought everything separately, is at right around 200 pounds, which is crazy, especially compared to other battle forces I have reviewed so far. The average seems to be around 190, 185. So having a box crack the 200 mark is a really good sign. So yeah, let's hope this box is not going to be too expensive, because if it costs 135 pounds or less, it is definitely worth your money. Next up, we are going to talk about points and savings. Now, as you can see on this specific list, it looks ridiculous, but as always, for the base list, I've just decided to punch in the list that GW decided to put on their display picture and the picture you're going to see on the box. And it is a ridiculous army. You're probably not going to build it like this. It doesn't make any sense to build it like this. There's at least one Vexless Praetor without any drop in there. So yeah, but as you can see, it is 1,545 points, and that is just an obscene number of points. It is probably going to be around 1,500 points with a slightly more realistic list. But still, anything above 1,250 points is a big plus, and this box smashes that number. So yeah, when it comes to points, I don't think any army is going to come close to this one. I might get surprised, but I don't think so. I think this is the Battleforce with by far the most points out there, and it is an imposing number. You need barely anything else, maybe a box of additional Adeptus Praetors, or two actually, and you're done. You're basically done. Now, while we can't get to 2,000 points with this list, and a 1,500 points list is self-evident, all you need to do is remove a Vexless Praetor and remove it with a regular Custodian Guard, and that should be it, and you should be at exactly 1,500 points. Now, when it comes to lower points games though, and for a starting Crusade force or for a combat patrol list, building Custodes feels exactly like building a Necron army back in 4th or 5th edition when they had their 3rd edition codex, and all you could do is build a Necron Lord, get 2 squads of warriors, and that was exactly 500 points. But as you can see, we have Trajan Valoris, we have a Custodian Guard squad with 3 Custodians with Guardian Spear and 1 with Sentinel Blade, as well as a Vexless Praetor. And yeah, that is the entire list. It is exactly 25 power level, it is exactly 500 points. Are you going to win any tournaments with that or anything that is not casual? Absolutely not, but it is a fun little list to use. It is admittedly a little bit character heavy. You could remove Trajan Valoris and just use a regular shield captain. Maybe that would be a little bit more beneficial, but I wanted to use the character model here simply because Trajan is a cool model and it is in the box, so I wanted to make use of that. As always, just use a shield captain and free up 100 points to add a little bit something different, or to maybe use 2 Custodian Guard squads if you wanted to have a little bit more troops and objectives secured on the board. Meanwhile, the 1,000 points list is also very easy to understand. It is just Trajan Valoris, 2 Custodian Guard squads, one has 1 more Custodian Guardsman in there. Then you have your Alaris Custodians, one of them is a Vexless Praetor, and you have your Vertus Praetors with either Hurricane Bolters or Salvo Launchers. If you can fit them, you can just remove 1 Custodian Guard and just add the Salvo Launchers if you wanted to, but yeah, as it stands, this list is exactly 50 power level, it is exactly 1,000 points, and it is perfect as a kind of expansion for your Crusade list or for just a basic 1,000 points game. I think this one works beautifully, and yeah, I've even had the time to test this one out myself, and it is a fine list. Next up, we are going to talk about upgrades, and while the upgrades are far and few between for Custodes simply because the model range is so limited, there are a couple of things I wanted to discuss. First up is the existence of the Combat Patrol box. I don't have a Combat Patrol box review yet for this specific kind of Custodes box, but I wanted to add it here anyway. And as you can see, the list, if you add it and if you kind of tinker around a little bit with it, and if you add a little bit something from Forge World, then you get to 2,000 points. And as you can see, it is basically just the Combat Patrol box together with the Battleforce. Do I recommend buying the Combat Patrol box in combination with the Battleforce? I don't really know. I'm really conflicted. You don't really need 4 boxes of Custodian Guard. You really don't. And it really depends on if you like the Sisters of Silence, if you are going to paint them up or not, because it is very difficult to sell them from what I've seen and read. So yeah, you need to make this consideration very carefully. I would personally probably go for separate kits and build a little bit something more targeted towards what you want, because technically the one thing you want from the Combat Patrol box is another squad of Virtus Praetors, and that is it. So yeah, and when it comes to the Forge World model, quote-unquote model I've been talking about, it is just a Sagittarium upgrade kit for your regular guard squad. This makes it a little bit less annoying to have so many guard squads all together, and the Sagittarium upgrade sprue basically turns your Custodian Guards into ranged units, which can be helpful. It can be a little bit of a mix-up for your army, and it really helps to kind of remove a little bit of your basic Custodian Guard and turn them into something different and a little bit with something of a different flavor, if that makes sense. So yeah, all in all, as I said, I will probably not go out and buy the Combat Patrol box in addition to the Battleforce. If you already have it, so be it. It's a decent-ish upgrade, but I would probably go out and buy 2 boxes of Virtus Praetors or maybe a Dreadnought in addition to the Battleforce and call it a day at 2000 points, because at that point you still have a lot to paint even though you're playing a Custodes army. So with that, as I said, the Contemptor Dreadnought box, especially the new one, works beautifully well for a Venerable Contemptor Dreadnought. You have a lot more options these days. The model just doesn't look as bad as it used to. And you can also go on the Forge World website to use all of the different kits they have over there. But as a beginner, that is usually not something I recommend. So if I were you, buy this Battleforce, build it, paint it, and once you have that done, I would probably pick up a Contemptor Dreadnought and 1 additional box of Virtus Praetors and call it a day. And with that, we are at the rating part of the video. I would personally give this box a whopping 8 out of 10. This box is not perfect, it has its flaws, but as far as an Adeptus Custodes box goes, with all models being plastic and no Forge World being used, because that's just not how Battleforces work, it is damn near perfect. You have a lot of Custodian Guard. I wish one of those squads was a Warden squad, and kind of the upgrade path when it comes to the Combat Patrol box and so on is just not optimal, but I think giving this box an 8 out of 10 is absolutely fair. The savings are looking to be above average. The points you're getting out of this box seem to be insanely high, like first place, I think. And yeah, you can just buy separate upgrades and pay a little bit more admittedly, but have a cool 2000 points list with an additional, as I said, Contemptor Dreadnought and an additional box of Virtus Praetors. All around, this is one of my favorite boxes this year for Warhammer 40,000, and I wholeheartedly recommend this one if you are looking to start a Adeptus Custodes army. If you're a veteran, this box is absolutely nothing for you. You're already probably drowning in Custodian Guard squads, and you probably already have everything you need. If you only own the Combat Patrol box, I think this Battleforce is fine, but it is not quite optimal. You will need to pick up a couple of Sagittarium Custodian upgrade sprues, in my opinion, to add a little bit of flavor and a little bit of variety into your lists. But other than that, I'm very happy with how this box looks, and I would be interested to hear what you think about this box, the points, and maybe potential upgrades when it comes to maybe Forge World models, because I haven't been talking about them this video. So yeah, if you have anything to add, please drop it in the comments below. Other than that, I hope this was insightful, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.